Got a repair video for you for the inside door latch. You can see in this case it has broke. Before it breaks on these trucks, usually it'll just get where when you pull it, it won't activate the unlock mechanism. You have to like roll the window down and reach outside. I got a replacement here from GM. This particular color and the side, driver's side tan is a GM157-08051. I'll roll at the bottom of the video some of the various part numbers from GM. This will give you a good idea, and I always just go with GM because they'll last longer than the clone parts will. So what usually happens on these, there's a actuator rod, and as you pull this lever here, what you'll see is this pewter metal will often break either where the rod connects here, or it'll break right on the inside here where the hinge is. And when we get this off, we'll be able to see exactly how it went. But we just take the old one off and put the old one, new one on, activate the unlock mechanism, and then there's also the door latch mechanism here, connects to another actuator rod. So it's very simple repair. Hardest part's just get everything taken apart. So first thing we'll start with is we're going to remove this trim plate. Now if you don't have a tool like this, there's several different types. You can use a plastic putty knife. You just don't want to use anything metal. And also the latches on these are probably very old and brittle, so you want to be very careful as you walk around and turn them. A couple of them come loose. I'm still missing one over here. Side here. There we go. All right. Yeah, so what I'm trying to do is protect these little latch pins here so they don't bust off and we can get this back on. All right, the next thing you're going to do is a couple of Phillips head screws on the armrest that we'll have to get out. And then after this, what we're going to do is all along the edge of the trim panel there are some white nylon clips that fit into a female piece that's mounted inside on the door frame itself. We're going to have another special tool to get those loose. And I'll tell you right now that when they get old, they get very brittle and they're very prone to cracking. But they're pretty cheap, and you can pick them up at any auto supply place. Doesn't necessarily have to be from GM. They're a pretty common part. All right, so after we get this last guy out, I'll show you how to start getting those off. Probably take a break on this so you don't have to watch me take every one of them off. I'll do a few though so you get the idea. All right, so both those screws are out. There's a couple of different tools that you can use for this. I mean, this is one example. This is another example. I like to get started with plastic just not to scratch everything up, but in a pinch, you could use a very wide flathead screwdriver. All right, so the first one is this piece here. It's held on by one of those clips. What you kind of do is you can feel it. You can pull it out like that, and I'll give you an example what these are like. So that's the male part of the clip. There's the female part that's put into the metal of the door frame. And all along the edge of this trim panel, you'll find these snapped in there, and they just kind of hold on like that. So that's the first piece. The next thing is, like I said, we're going to go all the way around the edge, removing these. And then there's also a couple in the middle part of the door. You just kind of just pull straight back. Just go slow when you find one, but you don't want to have it crack. And once you can get your fingers in here and feel it, that one's removed. And you can almost just go around with your fingers all the way down. It's kind of, maybe I'll just go ahead and do these because it's not as hard as I remembered it last time. All right, so they're all off. Next thing is the top part of the trim has got like a U-hook that holds onto the window channel. Just have to pull up on it. And we got this guy off. So you can see, one of those things fell down. You can see what I was saying about these clips all mounted. One of them fell down over there. It's on the ground. I'll pick it up in a minute. But they're all the way around. You just want to make sure that you don't break any of them. Now we don't need to worry about undoing this harness for the various switches and everything and speaker, but we do want to protect it. So you just kind of slowly rotate this guy around so you don't have any stress on the wiring. And if you sit him like that, he'll sit just fine, so that we can get this out. Now I'm going to need to remove some of these bolts so that we can take this metal plate off that's attached to the door frame here. It's a plate that this guy's attached to. We'll have to remove it. So I'm going to go get a hex head ratchet to take this off. I'll tell you the size when I come back, so we'll pause for a minute. I'm back with this. I just want to show you a couple of things before we keep going here. Here's an example of like one of those clips that has come off. In this case, and you'll see this with this age truck, the plastic piece that it snaps into on one side has broke off, so there's nothing for it to hold on to. So you may have a situation like that where it's just stuck in there, and that's fine. Next thing I want to show you is before we actually remove this plate, I meant to show you that you actually have a rivet down here that you have to remove. Now the way these guys attach, this is a weather shield to keep water out from the rain side on the glass, but you can see there's some notched tabs. And this guy, you know, has a centerpiece here. He just kind of goes in, he slides into place, and then you need a rivet to secure it. A rivet gun. I'll show you how to do that. But you know, here's my new rivet that's going to go in here and secure this guy right down there. But to get him out, we're going to have to drill the existing rivet from the last time I did this repair out. I'm not necessarily going to, you know, show you the whole thing, but the, you know, the concept here with the drilling a rivet out is you take a bit that's going to be about half the size of the diameter of the rivet you're putting in there, so that you can get it hollowed out and make it loose so you can pop it out. So I'm just going to pause for a moment while I drill this out, and we'll come back when we're getting ready to pop the rivet. Actually, didn't mean to have this come off, and it actually finished on me. So let me explain what I ended up doing here. I started off with, this is an 11/64 size bit, and I started off with 2 sizes smaller, and, you know, drilling out the rivet with the smaller size and then with the larger size, and then I was planning to come over here with the 11/64 size and just widen it a little bit, and it actually popped the top off, and that's what I wanted to do, but I didn't intend to do it off camera, so sorry about that. But that's all that you have to do. So once the head of the rivet is broke off, then we'll be able to get this removed. Take a flathead screwdriver and separate the plastic from the body of the rivet that's still in there. We'll push that out afterwards. And then now we can slide this guy forward, and he comes off. So you see, I was telling you before about these tabs, and they fit into these positions on this plate. So here we can see, like we were kind of predicting, that the metal has just completely severed with this part of the handle. And this is the actuator rod I was telling you about that controls opening the lock, and then down here is the one that's still intact for controlling the latch. And I might be able to get this done without actually taking this plate off, just because of what's here. So let me go ahead and see if I can extract this rod from this broken piece, this screwdriver here. Alright, so this is all garbage, and you also noticed I had put this little plastic bag down here with some tape to catch the metal filings as we drilled the rivet out. Just to avoid it getting blown into the cab and getting on somebody's bare feet. Obviously you want to wear eye protection when you're doing this kind of stuff. I don't know if I can get this handle out of my way here. Alright. That's one way to do it. Alright, so now I'm going to remove this last guy, actuator rod wise. And I'm going to take my new part, pump him in there. Let's see if I can get this done. Just having a little help from a flathead screwdriver to hold it. There we go. And that's it. Get this weather strip into place. Keep the water out. Get this guy back into where he belongs. Alright, looks good. Only thing is, well, we forgot to get the rest of that body of that rivet out. So let me go back under here for a minute and do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my finger behind here to catch it, and I'm just going to try and push it out with an awl. There, that's what happens when you put these rivets in. See in a minute. They slide in, and then the rivet gun pushes this steel piece on the aluminum piece, squishes it, and that's what holds everything together. Alright, so let's put this guy back on this again, part 2. Put him into place. We're going to put our rivet into position. Okay, get this guy out of our way. All of our trash pieces. And then the last step we've got here is the rivet gun. This is a rivet gun. I've had this for a few years. Picked it up at Harbor Freight, and it has served me very well for these types of tasks. So basically open this guy up all the way, get him positioned, hold it with this handle, push really hard, and then pull with the other handle. Just crank it until it pops. And that's it. You'll be left with this little stud guy and the tip. You can work out. Sometimes he gets a little stuck in there. But we're done. Like I said, sometimes it gets a little stuck in there. I think I'll just worry about popping this out later instead of wasting the video with you guys. But you can see now we've got it riveted back in just the way the factory intended. We'll put the trim back on, reverse what we did there, and we're all done. That's all it takes. It's a fairly simple repair if you have the right tools. I hope this video helps you out.